money
Right.
is typically a magnifier
Magnifier.
of who
Yep.
you currently are. So the more you get of it, the more of that person you're going to become. Now, there's, I think, some good research around to a certain degree of like wealth. People tend to change their behavior a little bit more. Um, but I frankly haven't like read enough about that to speak intelligently about it. But I do know there is some research that exists that is like, you know, somewhere in between like the poverty threshold, like once you make whatever that number is, 60,000 a year, 70,000 a year or whatever, it money doesn't really affect your happiness. And then like somewhere in between that 60 or 70,000 a year, all the way up to somewhere between like, I don't know, quarter billion, 300 million a year. Like there's not really anything that happens to your happiness on like that growth curve. But then past that, because you've taken care of everything that you could possibly take care of in life, and you could never work again and still be wealthy as long as you're decently smart with your money at that point. Like at that point, from what I've read or from some research that I've seen, there's some evidence that points to like it could potentially alter people's personalities to almost delude themselves into this new version of life that they have achieved. So but either way, like that's such a small percentage of people that it's like not anything to worry about. And like define rich, define a lot of money, define wealth, you know what I mean? Because like that, what I'm talking about is like people who are getting 200, 300, 400 million dollars. Like there's a massive gap between that and making, you know, 30,000 a year. It's like, well, you know, what if I made 1 million a year? What if I made 2 million? What if I made 4 million? What if I made 12 million? Like in that gap exists a lot of potential for people to completely change everything about their life, and have that money just be a magnifier of who they are. But then that's why it's so important to work on yourself constantly, to develop yourself, to develop your skill sets, to develop your soft skills like compassion and kindness and you know, different things like that. Because while you're on, and that's why I find that like a lot of successful people with money that I know, I find them to be really high quality good people because of the work that they had to put in to achieve the level of wealth that they have. Like not a lot of people have sharpened themselves as individuals to become that version of themselves in order to be able to achieve what they've achieved. So the
Yep.
process of becoming rich actually is what made them a good person, because it's a
Yep.
really difficult path and it's not
Right.
one that most people will take. So the fact
And
that you took that path and then push through failure after failure, obstacle after obstacle, and you learned over and over again, you shed terrible versions of yourself over and over again continuously for years on end, like that turned you into a better person objectively. And then once you earned the money, then you become a magnification of the better person that you became by getting the money to begin with.
I want to help you make the switch and get rich without being homeless. My name is Liberty and I own I'm Worth It Inc. If this sounds like you and you want to make money with your art, your business, your YouTube channel, and get rich without being homeless, then subscribe, help me get my silver play button, and leave a comment and tell me what is your first income goal.
You're worth it. Subscribe.